So what do you have for me?
Yeah. Okay. So since you were obviously the writer, the producer, the star, and what was it like to do it all in terms of when you actually got to set? You know, it didn't, from my perspective, it seemed like you were focused on the acting, you did all the stuff that you needed to do, and all of the production stuff you gave over to the crew that you had. But what was your experience like?
Okay, I want to give a thoughtful answer on this.
Okay. Because you were great. Like I said, you were so focused.
Yeah, so first of all, it's extremely challenging. I mean, I would be lying if I didn't say that wearing all those hats at the same time isn't a challenge, because it is. On the other hand, there's a certain freedom to it too that's amazing. A creative freedom, because it's your vision. And you have control basically over everyone that's involved in helping you to actualize your vision, because as being one of the co-creators and being able to hire who I wanted to hire, and as I tend to be like this in business too, with White Swan Films and award-winning reels, whenever I'm producing anything, I mean, I always hire the best people, because it saves you so much heartache and headache and later on down the road. And there is a reason why I think people like to work with the same people over and over again. I mean, I get it, because you have a shorthand with people that you know. And especially when you're like-minded with someone else, as an artist, you have an artistic sort of sense that you share as well. Like you get, especially with comedy too, I think you have to get the humor. Like you have to get the humor of the person you're working with. And I think one of the amazing things about this show was that everybody jived.
Oh my God, it was, yeah, that was,
the ensemble, first of all, from, the production crew jived too, but the cast just, I gotta share with you, because when we were in post and we were editing, literally we laughed till we peed our pants almost every day, because everybody was so connected to their characters. They took what we wrote and ran with it and created all this specificity with these characters that we drew. And so when we did these group scenes where everyone's in the conference room, and it's banter back and forth, that we had the camera obviously all over the place, so there were times where we were getting coverage of that person, and I swear to God, when some of these wide shots, like we couldn't make up our mind which take to use, because we were like, oh my God, look what Mike's doing over there, it's so funny, and oh my God, look at Lisa, you know what I mean? And it was just like, it was hard because we had to make decisions, but it was such a pleasure. That's a great problem to have, is when you've got so much great stuff that you just you want to feature everybody.
And I just want to interject there. That's why it was so easy to come in such short notice, because I just felt like I'd been with you guys forever. There was not a glitch.
No.
Everybody listened, you talked. Sometimes you come into set when people know each other and you feel a little invisible at first. And it was just like, I feel like I've been here forever.
And nobody was afraid to play off of each other either. Yeah. Which I think sometimes professionally, unfortunately, you get into situations where you do feel like an outsider. You come onto some show and you're looking across, you're looking at your partner in the eye, and they're like looking between your eyebrows and not even connecting with you at all, and you're like, okay, so you're phoning it in, and and you just, so I think, getting back to answering your question appropriately, yes, it's challenging, but I love the energy of it. I love working on a project and feeling like everyone's a family, and because I come from theater, that is where my initial training ground was. The same with Peggy, and you have that kind of feeling in the theater. You have a bond. And let me tell you something: when you're doing comedy in the theater, if it's not funny, forget it. Like if the audience isn't with you, if you don't feel the energy of the audience, then you're dead in the water, and there's no second take, you know. So I mean, it's a very different animal to do comedy on screen, and there are obviously pitfalls and dangers with that too. But I think that I just felt so blessed because I feel like we cast well. We really cast the show well. And then, of course, we brought on a lot of our team that worked with us on other projects, other White Swan Films projects. We knocked that thing out, 4 days? So we actually have an entire first season written, the entire first season, which is, I think, about 12 episodes.
Oh, and they're complete. It's
written like completed. And I know that that's not the norm. I know that oftentimes people... it's not even the norm to shoot a pilot before getting picked up, or it's really a norm to have a concept or a one sheet or a script for a pilot, maybe, but it's not normal to go off, produce the pilot. This is me. We came at this from a different angle, and I don't think there's any one way to do anything in this business,
especially not now.
Especially not now.
Yeah.
When once we started writing, we just couldn't stop writing because it was just like the ideas were flowing, and we were envisioning the show being alive. It's like a living thing, and it like we were envisioning and this is what's going to happen next, and then oh my god, and wouldn't it be great if that happened, and it'd be so funny if this happened. And then we did a couple of staged readings, but not in front of an audience, just for ourselves as writers to hear it. But we wrote for like a good 6 months to a year before we did anything else, and it was wonderful because I think we worked 2 afternoons a week together. We went to a play, like an office, and we had a big chalkboard. We liked to kind of come up with like titles of scenes. So we would title our scenes. Somehow kind of gave us sort of like a structure to how to go about and write. So I did a lot of outlining first. So we wrote the whole first season, and we also have the second season outlined.
Holy cow.
And so in the Bible, there's a short description, synopsis of each episode of the first season, and then there's a series arc, which is a typical thing that you need to have in a Bible anyway. And we just have ideas for the third, some broad ideas for the third season.